Hey, so today I wanted to share my story with you about becoming vegan. Um, Meat had always had a strange texture to me, and when I was a toddler, my mom had made fish sticks one day, and I said, "What's this?" And she said, "Fish." And she said, I looked over at the fish tank we had in the dining room, and then looked back at my plate in disgust, and then said to her, "What's chicken?" So I had thought it was strange as a toddler that we had an animal called chicken and then there was a food called chicken. I was like, there's no way we could be eating the animal, right? No, that just wouldn't make sense. That would be silly. That was a silly thought of me to have. But that day, as a toddler, it confirmed for me that chicken was actually chicken. I was always a thinker, and I always questioned things, and things didn't make sense to me, and it turns out as I'm older and learned more that the things I questioned as a child were really accurate. Just like how we're told growing up that cows are for milk, and cows give us milk. No, cows don't just give milk. Cows are like every other mammal, and they give milk after giving birth, and the milk feeds the newborn. If you don't know how things are done in the dairy industry and how cows actually produce milk, look into it, research it. I always picked at my meat. My mom always had to tell me I had to eat some meat, so I always had to drown it in seasoning or condiments or whatever so that I could try to mask the taste and try not to think about what I was eating. And then at 11 years old, I learned there was a term for not eating meat, found out it was an actual thing, because I didn't know any vegetarians growing up. And so at 12 years old, I had announced to my parents that I was going vegetarian. And my mom was concerned, and my dad laughed. He didn't take me seriously, but it was just natural for me. Ever since that day, I had not consumed meat. And then 2011 was when I had gone vegan, and I had always had stomach issues my entire life. And after I had gone vegan, I learned that it took away a majority of my stomach issues. I also learned that I wasn't nauseous anymore. I had dealt with nausea my entire life growing up. And then I ended up with a bonus out of going vegan because my skin is clear and I very rarely get zits now. And it was hard at first to go vegan because I was huge on butter and cheese and ice cream, but after a few days of feeling better, it was completely worth it. After a few months, I didn't even miss that stuff anymore because my body was just so used to eating healthier now that if I tried dairy in the past, it just didn't taste good anymore. It just tastes like straight up fat after your body's used to avoiding it, and that's not appetizing. And then I learned that there's actually a lot of alternatives out there so that you can still have butter and cheese and ice cream. And there's a misconception that, well, if it's not dairy and you're eating cheese, it must not be good. But that's not true. There's actually a lot of really good tasting options out there. You just have to try them and find them. For example, there's some butter that's made out of olive oil that's really good. Tastes just like butter, but healthier. Tons of ice cream options. There's rice milk and coconut milk and soy milk and almond milk, cashew milk. Just like being non-vegan and you can eat some foods that don't taste good or taste good. Same thing with being vegan. There's stuff that doesn't taste good and stuff that does taste good. You just have to try it and find what you like. And also, after going vegan, I found so much more flavorful food now. It's really enjoyable eating, and I'm loving experimenting with herbs and seasonings. And if you don't know how things are done with the dairy industry, meat industry, egg industry, research it, educate yourself, please. It only makes sense to know what you're putting your money towards and actually supporting. There's a lot of documentaries out there you can watch that do educate you on that stuff. Some are Vegucated, Cowspiracy, which Leonardo DiCaprio promotes, Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, Live and Let Live, Peaceable Kingdom, Speciesism. Only makes sense to me to not want violence in any way to living beings. Animals have the same nervous system as we do. They feel pain, they feel depression, they feel stress. They are smart. Animals are smart. It's not just animals like cats and dogs that can learn their names. You can teach rats their names. You can teach chickens their names. It's true. Animals are very capable of being smart. But once you know the way things are done, it just only makes sense to me to avoid certain things. It only makes sense to me not to want to be blinded towards things. It's not appetizing to me to eat something that you know had a brain and eyeballs and organs, intestines. It pooped. It had a beating heartbeat that was stopped so that we could consume it. It just doesn't make real sense to me, especially with all the resources we do have for food. It's not about survival anymore. And then I just wanted to end with, I'm wearing Kat Von D lipstick again. This is the liquid lipstick called Backstage Bambi, if you're interested. It stays on. It's like basically painting your lips. It's really good stuff. And then there's this great place called Brazen, and it's their eyeshadow that I'm wearing. So check them out. They've got really good stuff. Natural stuff, a lot of vegan stuff. So thank you for joining me again, and I hope you join me again in a couple weeks.